Hey guys, welcome back. We hope you had a great Easter. It was so fun. I did the scavenger hunt, but I got lost. How about you?
Yes, we did it. It was super fun, yeah.
It's kind of hard to get lost because, it's around your home, but I got lost. But no, it was great. It was so much fun. And we actually decided to start off today's lesson with a question. And this question comes from no one, because we haven't talked to you, but we're going to just say it came from someone. And this question is, what is your favorite cartoon character, Cassie? What is your favorite cartoon character?
So mine right now would probably be Maximus, the horse from the Tangled movie.
Yes. Doesn't talk, but he's so
super funny. Yeah.
Facial expressions. I love the Minions, mostly just because they remind me of my children. And right now my son, who is 2, walks around and goes, Tunga, Tunga, Tunga. And I just think he's a minion, and he's a weirdo. Well, no, that's cool. Well, today, guys, we've got a really fun time with Chaz. In fact, I talked to him earlier, and he said he's got something cooking in the kitchen.
Oh.
Why don't you go and take a look and see what Chaz is doing today?
Hey Jimmy, this is Chaz, and we're gonna be cooking in the kitchen today. Today, I'm making myself a meal, and it's gonna be some spaghetti with sauce. And then we're gonna see how gravity feeds me. So let's go ahead and start cooking. Oh yeah, that's a good spaghetti. All right, here we go. As Chaz says, let's see if it sticks. That's hot. Okay, never mind. We'll do that later. All right, now we gotta add some of the pasta sauce here. We got some good old pasta sauce. We're gonna just throw it in here. So, okay, we're doing it. Yep, we're doing it. All right, okay. And we're gonna add some of this paste. Ooh, it's thick, for flavor. You gotta have that flavor in your pasta. I don't know about you out there, but if I like good food, it's going everywhere. All right, okay. We got that done. We're gonna mix and mix and mix. Okay. Now, with any meal, you need something to drink. Now, here in Texas, it's hot. So I'm gonna have a lot of water. So here we go. Some agua. You may be asking, Chaz, how are you gonna eat this? Now you could just eat it with a plate like a lame-o, or you can let gravity feed you. Let's go! All right, we're here to see how gravity will feed my body. And let's see how spaghetti tastes when it falls from the sky! Now, time for something refreshing! Water! Woo! And that is refreshing. Back to you, Jimmy!
Whoa! That was
really interesting.
I don't know if I'd ever want him to cook for me.
No,
Never,
I don't
ever.
think so.
No.
I've made a lot better smoothies in my life.
Yeah, that was pretty gross. I don't
Yeah.
think you're allowed to drink it. Maybe
No.
there's a disclaimer on that video. Who knows?
Hopefully not. Yeah. Goodness. Well, we're going to be jumping into our Bible story today. We're on week 3 of our Upside Down series. So I'm going to run over the memory verse with you guys. If you know it at home, please feel free to say it along with me. So it is Philippians 2, verse 3. And it says, don't do anything only to get ahead. Don't do it because you are proud. Instead, be humble, value others more than yourselves.
Cool. Awesome. Well, let's take a look, guys, at what our Bible verse is today as we continue to explore what life turned upside down looks like. Go ahead and check it out.
Greatest day in history. Death is beaten, you have rescued me. Sing it out, Jesus is alive. Empty cross, the empty grave.
The Bible. It's 66 books of history, stories, letters, and poetry that fit together to form God's one big story. The epic adventure of how He created us and loves us so much that He made a way to rescue us. As we travel through the Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, we discover people who met God and found their lives changed forever. And now for an amazing story, inspired by the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verses 3 through 8.
Jesus' life and death and resurrection changed the way everything works. It changed how we view others and how we treat them. One of Jesus' followers, a man named Paul, wrote about it in a letter to believers in Philippi. Don't do anything only to get ahead. Instead, be humble. Value others more than yourselves. As you deal with one another, you should think and act as Jesus did. Jesus was equal with God, but Jesus didn't take advantage of that fact. Instead, He made Himself nothing. He did this by taking on the nature of a servant. He appeared as a man. He was humble and obeyed God completely. He did this even though it led to His death. Let's imagine how this truth might play out today. Angus McCrane had been up since 5:30 a.m. for his job as a school bus driver. After 3 morning routes, he skipped lunch to clean out throw up and a spilled soda from the back of his bus.
Yuck.
Then there were 3 afternoon routes and a whole stack of paperwork waiting for him at the bus garage at the end of the day. So by the time Angus got home, he was starving. He couldn't wait to dig into this delicious ribeye he'd picked up.
Gonna fire up that grill right away.
While the grill heated, Angus prepared a baked potato and sautéed green beans.
A little salt, a little lemon.
Then he seared the steak to perfection and slid it on his plate alongside the fluffy baked potato and crisp green beans. Ooh.
Thank you, Lord Jesus, for this food. Amen.
Angus sliced off a corner of the sizzling steak and skewered it with his fork. But before he could take a bite,
Oh, for goodness sake.
with a regretful glance at his steak, Angus headed over to his front door and opened it. His new, chipper neighbor Marge stood there, holding an enormous Siamese cat.
Hello, Marge.
I am so sorry to barge in, but I just found out about a super last-minute work trip, and I don't have anyone to watch Boris while I'm gone.
Angus just stared at the cat, and the cat stared back, smugly, as if he knew Angus hated cats.
Well, I gotta tell you, I've never been around cats much.
Oh, that's no problem. I've got everything you need right here.
Angus looked past Marge to see several bags and boxes, plus an entire carpeted climbing tree.
So, could you do it?
Angus glanced sadly at his quickly cooling steak, but he could see Marge was a little desperate.
Well, okay.
It took Marge nearly 10 minutes to explain every little detail of Boris the cat's care. Finally, Angus was alone again with his steak. And Boris.
Yeah, better keep those fuzzy paws away from my dinner, you hear me?
But before Angus could take a bite,
What on earth?
Angus jumped up and hurried over to the side window. He could see exactly what had happened.
That boy.
Zachary Kircher was the kid who lived next door. He loved sports but didn't have good aim. He'd already dented Angus's car with a baseball and destroyed a patch of petunias playing soccer, and this time it was a rogue football that had hit the window.
At least didn't break the glass.
Angus saw Zachary scrambling to recover the football and make his escape, but as he tried to hop the fence, he stumbled.
Serves him right.
When Zachary got up, Angus could clearly see that he'd badly gashed his knee. Angus sighed, thought mournfully about his steak, and opened the window.
Zachary!
Sorry, Mr. McCrane. I'm leaving.
No, just hold on a minute. We gotta clean up that knee.
So Angus grabbed his handy-dandy first aid kit and headed outside. It took another 10 minutes to clean out all the dirt from Zachary's scrape and get it all bandaged up, and finally, Angus sat down to dinner again for the third time. His steak was barely warm.
I am so hungry I could eat the entire cow.
But before he could take a bite,
That don't sound good.
Angus ran to the front window. It appeared that the neighborhood ice cream truck had swerved to avoid Zachary, who had ran into the road to chase his football. Big no-no. And now that truck was listing sideways on a flat tire.
You have got to be kidding me.
Angus opened the front door and headed down the sidewalk. The poor teenage driver was checking out the damage.
It's my first day on the job. I wrecked the truck. They'll fire me.
No. It's just a flat, son. You wait right here.
With a deep sigh, Angus headed back to his garage, grabbed his handy-dandy toolkit, and showed the young driver how to remove the flat tire and replace it with a spare.
Thanks. I'd totally give you an ice cream sandwich, but they might fire me for giving stuff away.
Angus wiped the grease off his hands as he watched the ice cream truck ramble down the street. Speaking of ice, his dinner must be stone cold by now.
Excuse me?
Angus jumped a mile to see Marge standing behind him. She was wearing oven mitts and holding a hot apple pie. Steam seeped from the cracks.
I can't eat this since I've got to leave. I thought you might like it.
Well, glory be.
Angus inhaled the heavenly smell.
First I interrupt your dinner, then you help that kid next door, and now changing a flat. You sure put others first.
I don't generally feel like doing it, but thank you.
Angus happily accepted the apple pie. This time he would be putting dessert first while his dinner reheated in the oven. Now, it would have been a lot easier for Angus to just eat dinner and ignore the people around him who needed help, but little by little, God was helping him serve others, just like Jesus did.
Wow, what a good story. Yeah, like it's kind of crazy, right? This guy had a really good looking dinner and he kept getting interrupted and it just interrupted time and time again, and yet he still put others first, right?
You know what? Actually, sorry to interrupt. Speaking of interrupt, I left my backpack. Can you go get it? It's got really important stuff. It's over there.
Where? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay.
You see it? Thanks.
Are your legs broken? I guess I'll go get them.
Thanks.
What is in this thing?
Oh, well, actually it's my rock collection. Isn't that super cool?
Maybe for some people.
Yeah,
Really
my
do.
girls
You just
loved collecting rocks.
have a
We
lot of
like collecting rocks at our
Rocks
house.
in here.
Yeah.
You know, that actually reminds me, oddly enough, of a story in the Bible where Jesus is talking to his disciples. Man, that is a lot of rocks. Where Jesus is talking to his disciples, and actually he says, if a Roman centurion comes up to you and it says, hey, carry my backpack for 2 miles, Jesus says to not just do it for 2 miles, but 4 miles. And I remember reading that as a kid thinking, what a weird story. There's actually more behind that story than just that. It's because back then it was by law. If a centurion or a soldier came up to an Israelite or anyone living in the Roman Empire and said, hey, you're supposed to carry my bags, by law you had to. If you didn't, you could get arrested. And so you have to, but you're not allowed to carry it any more than 2 miles. And so what Jesus is saying, don't just do what you're commanded to do more than that. Go beyond what's called upon you. And it kind of falls into our main point today, right?
Yeah.
A little bit. It says put others first because Jesus put us first.
Yeah.
And that can look in a variety of ways of putting people first, right? Sometimes it's not always convenient. These rocks they were heavy.
They were heavy.
It was not convenient. But that's what Jesus calls us to do, is to put others first, even in those moments when it's not what we want to do. And maybe at home right now, that's making sure you're doing your chores, right? Maybe put that controller down and stop watching TV or stop playing video games and do your chores before your parents ask you. Maybe it's doing chores that aren't even on your list, right? Maybe you take the garbage out even though you're not supposed to be doing it, right? Not for recognition, but because you want to help your family and serve them. So, yeah, that was pretty good. These rocks, what are you going to do with them?
Well, I think we're going to put them in my flower bed at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just going to, throw them in the air. I would do that.
Not safe to me.
Well, hey, guys, we hope you have a great rest of your week, and we will see you later.
Bye.
Bye.